Director of the Provisional Government.
The grayest.
That's horrible.
The grayest character at the back.
Do what you must, sister. That's what I've always done, and I'm not going to apologize.
I'm not going to apologize for it.
An adaptable sister.
Do anything
Or say anything
to survive. There's no emotion worth getting incinerated over. Live, survive.
Resist.
Resist when it means dying. Or crawl, snivel, live. Head held high, head held low, you're alive. The dead know nothing.
Will you carry this?
I've made up my mind on this one.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about her because of how much
yeah, this is very interesting.
there is on it. Or rather, I'm curious. What do you think about her actions and the way she played the game in light of her situation?
Like, clearly she was like, hey, I'm working with the bad people, but it's because I'm trying to help you. And for me, somebody who's like sitting on the fence is not taking a decision, and it's just as bad as like not doing anything. So for me, like, that's a failure for me in my heart.
I agree with you. And one can counterpoint that, but you never would have made it out of there without her, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can say that, like...
And this is where it gets hard.
You were hiding them in the basement. They never would... You're the one... And you can put that weight on them forever, right? And you can say that, like, because you saved a life, you can... Anything that follows should be okay, right? I mean, it's a fucking straw man. But, like, you see the thread of, like... You made the definitive action that kept her alive, and therefore, how much bad does that net you? Yeah. Is it infinite? Do the ends always justify the means? If saving Watcher's life in that moment means that she's allowed to get away with anything else shy of killing Watcher,
yeah,
does that math add up too?
Yeah, well,
I don't think
horrible.
so. I don't think so. And if we're talking about...
And if you're going into the future, would you want someone like that in your side?
And that's exactly... Yes, Reggie.
You
yes.
would not. That's unreliable. Can't trust it.
That's the thing.
Where are you going with this?
Even if you want to...
ideal?
You're not... This is not a question of do you absolve her of her sins. This is not asking you if you forgive them. It's do you want to carry this into the future? That's a different fucking question. Yeah. Exactly, dude. 100%.
I can't.
100%. Thank you. Completely. That's exactly my thought. If it's forgiveness, if it's anything else, that is a different fucking question. 1 million.
Did we go everywhere? Probably not, right?
I mean, there's so many more people we could talk to, but it's choosing this group right here.
Okay, so we talked to Umbrella, Nowhere,
yep,
and then these two
cultists.
Cultists are gone. The older,
Doreen, the older generation.
They're still in.
That's everyone.
Zhao is gone. The Reds are gone.
That's everyone.
And what was going on with Fixer and the others?
Mauve, Fixer and the others? They're just reacting to what's happening, to the loss.
That's good.
These are real people.
All right.
Grouped together. You have to judge them together, right? Yes. You have to answer that question that she asks you.
Will you carry this?
Together. Not about Fixer, not about Healer, not about BB, but all together. And given what we didn't know, when we get a chance to actually hear Fixer out, it's much more understandable. Fucked up and cold and brutal on Watcher's behalf. But the let's get this shit to the surface, her plan, it makes perfect sense. And you have to wait for her to explain that to get on board.
All right, Secretary.
No regrets.
Blue, are you ready to appraise your decisions?
I am.
You have chosen a future that casts aside the knife for more difficult incisions, that aspires to new instruments, but that leaves you vulnerable, that faces past wrongs head-on, no matter the cost.
The most important one,
Yeah, this one?
in my opinion. The most important one.
That seeks to persist on the surface, regardless of the unknown and the possibility for pain. That recognizes past contributions and to go more slowly.
Conservative.
That foregoes comforts and eradicates tradition for a new path. That knows some lines must not be crossed, regardless of survival. That relentlessly seeks justice for those ignored. That believes some are simply beyond forgiveness. That remembers where you came from, knowing you can never fully connect to it. Are you certain?
Absolutely. I agree with all of that.
The ancient sister's sin will finally be eradicated. She has hid all her life. She can finally rest in oblivion. Maybe some people are truly beyond forgiveness.
I mean, imagine erasing the one other human being around that you've hurt and being like, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
We're not plumbers. We ain't bringing up old shit.
She needs to go. Otherwise, certain sisters will rally behind her again. She had her chance to do what was right, much longer than the rest of us. She chose to hold tightly.
If that is your wish, then so be it.
Thank you, Secretary.
Farewell, Blue. Let this thread be unburdened.
No one makes it out unscathed from the cycle of abuse. Thank you, Rei Ayanami. Thank you. Bum ba dum bum 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 ba bum 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 ba dum bum ba-dum bum ba
Such a happy song. Epilogue.
I can't see the bottom of stairs in the subway station without thinking of Neckbrook.
Oh, word?
She broke her neck
Yeah.
every
Still
time.
see her right there.
Still see it. Right there. It's back. With nothing on it.
Oh. New year.
Looks like a reboot season 4 character.
I'm usually here alone. So thank you for coming with me. I know it's dangerous.
We all came from here?
Oh.
There were many paths here, and many paths that diverged from here.
The others didn't want to come. We left for good, they said.
But you came.
Yes, I wanted to know more, see it for myself.
That's important. After everything that's happened, I can't help but come back. I return every year.
Your warning.
Some things can't be rushed. Sometimes it feels like it was just yesterday. Why don't you go visit my sisters? I'm sure they'd be happy to see someone other than me for once.
Oh, we got a full-ass epilogue on our hands.
Last door. Find everywhere. Find everyone everywhere.
All at once.
Remember a teenager who fled her home with a full backpack and a picture in her pocket. She couldn't find happiness. She missed her parents. For you, something old. I feel as if I know her.
So she must have got the Zhao painting when she came back. Right? If she didn't leave with it. Or did she leave with it? Okay. Of all the things you grabbed, it fit in the backpack.
That was a big picture, right?
It was a pretty big picture, yeah. I wish this part wasn't in first person. But there's a sprint button, and we're gonna just have to horf up our lunch. Oh? What?
I was just wondering if that was a point of interest, but maybe not.
There's no diamond there, so I backed out to go towards this one.
Remember a tight-lipped and two-faced knower whose sacrifices outlived her.
They called her two-faced.
She made enemies over and over. She was not for the faint of heart. For you, something soft. So many enemies.
Huh. Interesting.
Got a reputation.
Yeah, I didn't expect the Forgotten to be disparaged. I thought they would just simply be erased. You know?
We're going back towards where you went.
Yeah, because there is a thing here, but it's just not activated. Yeah, right. Okay. Here lies that old bitch. She owe me $10.
Anyone else on this floor? It's a big orchard.
Narrative. Why'd you have to do me like this? It was even easier when there was a little secretary on screen to look at.
Remember the armed sisters who upheld a fictitious government and sacrificed many lives. They turned on their own. They didn't know better. For you, something clean. I heard about them.
Shell. Shell.
The red shells?
Yeah, no, I just meant the Shell approval stamp on the on
I
the
see.
successful mission.
Shell.
Shell.
Mm.
I don't know what it is, but it's the first person. It's the light. It's a couple of things, but it's not doing me good.
I see.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Remember a shy Zhao who stood in the same spot her whole life, giving away empty pages of memorabilia. She loved her function. She died standing at the ready. For you, something wild.
Is that Cherry?
Cherry Zhao.
Mm-hmm.
Turning it into a little memorial. And then the action down there.
Remember an unflinching bartender who tended to libation the way she tended to revolution. She chose not to be careful. She was shot in the back. For you, something sacred.
It's interesting because bartender was such a minor part of the first act. A very cool part, you know?
She had all the stories.
We had some fun conversations with her, but she was so minor for the impact she played later on.
Maybe the second playthrough hits harder.
Fratricidal watcher who lost faith in an eye.
Did I write that?
She could have been a nobody. She was ancient by the end. For you, something fresh. She's my favorite.
One-eyed matricidal. We throwing shade. Where are you going? Where are you going? Towards Fixer's song.
Oh.
Remember a stubborn and brash fixer who discovered our first forms of flight and disappeared. She could not sleep through the night. She struggled with words. For you, something secret.
Bzzzt.
Words can be hard sometimes.
Aha.
Once upon a time.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Don't get too caught up in it. It was nice for a time.
That's kind of nice.
Ended real bad. Ended real bad. Real bad.
You want to have regrets? Yeah, that's one way to do it.
I just... It's in the face of the corpse that gets me, you know? That's the part that's just really hard. And, like, you know, that's, like, whatever the case... Anyway, that's just some real shit. Like, I have a... There's a person I've dealt with that has been massively intolerable, and the height of their unbelievable behavior occurred in front of a corpse. And I'm just like, that's extremely hard to get over for me.
I see.
You get one moment to have something, and if you can't get over what your shit is in that moment, right there with that, it's like,
Yeah.
you're kind of lost. You're kind of lost. It's rough, man.
Remember a philosophizing Bang Bang Fire who hated her role and was difficult to understand. She carried the past with her like a shadow. She was happier when she was drunk. For you, something funny. I wouldn't mind something funny.
The ghosts of you.
So after Watcher, I was gonna say like, oh fuck, am I supposed to be following these ghosts every time? Right? Was I mistakenly not picking up on the clue? But it seems like not all of them lead you to the next, right?
Jumping over the railing.
Yeah. Like Watcher to Fixer was, for example, a pretty clear path. Where are you going? Where are you going? Pink?
Healer pad.
The most automata of all automata rooms.
Remember a tired and indulgent healer who thrived in her late years as a cultural icon. She was petty.
Yeah, tired and petty is a good way to put it.
She was honest. For you, something sparkling. I'm a big fan. What's it like to be a legend?
Yeah. Jury's out.
Was all of them?
The sisters? We didn't get no. Oh, we did get nowhere. Yeah, that's all of them.
The return to blue prompt
Yep.
flashed.
Ah, they were running towards each other. Is this faster? Where did Denoa end up leading to? Did you walk towards anybody? Were you just alone? To this Bridge. Where we spoke to her before, right? I think we spoke to her on the bridge a while ago. Yeah. Oh. I see keep going. Is there more to it? Is she looking at the 2? She's looking at the 2. Yeah. Yeah. There, yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. Well, it must be pretty hard to see what's going on down there with, you know, the lights off.
Okay, Woolie. All right.
Whoopsie doodle. There we go.
Man.
Not from this side. From over there. Not from that side.
Keep going.
I mean, yeah, there we go. I think this way. Maybe?
Probably.
Yeah. There's Toxic Yuri, and then there's Blighttown Yuri. Then there's Scarlet Rot Yuri. You know?
To this day, I wonder, what if I had chosen differently? A sister once said to me, don't think too hard. It's bad for the brain. I can confirm that.
Your sisters. I've heard so much about them.
What would they say now?
I think they would want you to forgive yourself.
There is forgiveness. And then there is the gravity of consequence.
You did what you had to do.
I did. There's one last sight I want you to see. In the cave, where there used to be a waterfall. Please.
Yep. So how do you think Mimi the 50 earned that stabbing? And I use my words deliberately.
So she got close with Iris, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably did some experiments as well.
She did something. She did something. And you know, getting close for experimental, manipulative purposes, while very candidly being like, have we considered rape?
Something bad.
Have we considered, you know, have we considered that option? Just want to make sure we're looking at everything on the table and forced insemination is on the table, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck? There we are.
Remember a lying and leading principal who tried to be a better mother than her own. She chose not to regret her damage. She chose to be in pain. For you, something merciful. All we can do is try, right?
Interesting choice of narrative on these.
Remember a lie she chose for you.
Definitely not unbiased.
In case you have some sympathy for her.
Me? Oh, the
Oh,
tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it reads like walking through a museum describing the atrocities of the past. Right? When you're reading about Genghis Khan conquering the steppe and the slaughtering of cities, you're like, yeah, that's what happened. Next sentence. You know, or like ancient Chinese history where they're like a disagreement between this person and that person over what was served at dinner. 50,000 dead.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. And then came which dynasty? What's next?
Yeah.
It's like you read the number and your brain's like, okay. For how many years? You know?
I left so many things behind here. Maybe there's still more to leave. How about you? Anything you care to keep here?
I'd like to leave a picture.
Of what?
A friend.
It will be here for you, if ever you're back to visit. Are you ready to return to the others?
I am.
Blue to ephemeral. Blue to ephemeral. Ready for retrieval.
This is ephemeral. Message received, Blue. On our way to rendezvous.
People?
Maybe you'll write something for me one day.
Men?
After all, there are more yesterdays to come.
Why the last man? There are many tomorrows to come.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a cool last boss fight place if I ever seen one. You gotta stand on top of that thing and monologue.
Defeat the visual novel.
Breathe. I felt like I could breathe for the first time. Oh, man. I remember 2001. Ah, shit. Them shoes are crazy. That's wild.
Oh boy.
How many girls in your high school broke an ankle on them fashionable platforms?
We had a dress code.
Down to the shoes?
Down to the shoes.
We had a uniform, but the shoes were still, people got fancy with it.
I see.
And some of those dangerous lifts were happening.
Wow.
Interesting shot. Interesting last shot. Blue looks down to Iris. Iris turns towards the remaining first sisters.
And they get together. Wow, that was a nice 10-hour game. Holy moly.
Do you think, since we're not privy to the info, do you think that, like, Iris had, of all the, Iris barely was able to have affection, but of the affection that she had, do you think that, like, it was directed at the remaining sisters in that way? She also had it for, the youngest when she said, "I missed you so much," as her last words.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think her turning towards them in that moment is, like, symbolic of, like, I guess, her purest feeling of motherhood?
I guess, even though, like, she kept telling youngest, like, the others are jealous of you and blah blah blah. I think she cared a little bit.
Oh, she cared. She cared. I think she cares more for some than others.
Okay.
But her last words were deliberate for a reason. You know? No one's a write-off. Because human beings don't work that way.
No.
You know? There's always a part of the most flawed, the most, like, the ones who are doing the most hurting, where you're like, yep, I see how you got there. Let's take a trip over to the swing set. Let's cue up the flute music.
Yeah.
And let's find out what broke you. You know? That's always there. Will it stay your hand from turning the lights off? I don't know.
Sometimes you do need to turn the lights off.
For me, sometimes you gotta turn the fucking lights off.
Yeah.
You know?
Can't carry these.
Yep. In context of this story, I know people who have really bad relationships with their parents that remember some good sides to it, but, like, when they have their kids, are like, do you even bring them into this world of trauma?
Do you even bother?
Do you do that? Do you make that connection? You know?
Yeah. That energy is contagious.
It depends on how bad we're talking, you know? And in many, many cases, it's like, yeah, because they're going to be curious enough on their own, you know? They're eventually going to want to know what's going on, and they have a right to. But I can think of some where it's like, yeah, no, you know what? I get it. I get why you're cutting ties there. I understand. I can't. That's a conversation that you've had, and it's a heavy decision that's not made lightly, but you understand why you'd make that. That was fucking excellent.
Yeah, a lot of people involved there.
That was fucking great.
Even the actor.
That was a really, really strong ending. For the journey, that was a very strong ending.
And every character had a little something.
It's disproportionately good as an ending for how it starts. It is a lopsided quality. It is not that it starts bad, but it starts okay.
Yeah.
It gets really, really strong at the end there. That's really, really good. I think there's so much meat to bite into with the characters by the end there that it takes a while to get to, you know?
Was it the train reveal? Was it at that point that it's like, it got you? At which point towards the ending did you like start being like, it's more than okay?
Oh, I felt it was more than okay early on.
Okay.
I think the moment we heard Fixer's song,
Right.
I was like, this is nice. You know? But I also am thinking of like, yeah, the slowness of the slow burn and some of that clunk that you kind of trip over on the way, and some of the times where my head hurt, you know? And like, I mean, you know, it's one thing to have Watcher on the side over here scrolling, you know, for the things that we forget and things that you'd kind of just like maybe piece together afterwards or perhaps go read about.
Yeah.
I think that it's asking a lot of the player as like now enjoying it as it is. I think it asks a lot of the player more than a lot of other games might in piecing things together.
Like we did it the way we did. Is this a 2 playthrough game?
It's definitely a 2 playthrough game. More. There's apparently multiple endings.
Okay.
Right? So to that end, I say, as we just get over here, to that end, I say, like, yeah, there's, I'm sure, a whole wildly different perspective you can get on each early part as you know where it's going and what the sentences mean and when they're going to come back to echo themselves in the future. And then, yeah, if there's multiple endings, then of course, you know. But that's it, right? Like for every answer deliberately not given, there's a lot of stories are supposed to do that. They're supposed to hide their cards from you.
People are afraid of doing that. Yeah.
They're supposed to hide their cards from you and let you get there. I feel like what will often happen sometimes in a narrative is it'll hold its cards and then like they'll have moments where they just like overwhelm you with info and then go back to holding it again. But here it never really did that. It even even when it's explaining it to you, it's still holding it, right? Even when you're going through the memories of like what happened with the 50 and humanity and what those moments were, you still have to do a lot of connecting. And I don't think, again, I'm never going to be the person that says, please hold the viewer's hand more. But I am going to say that like using obtuseness as a weapon, as a scalpel, is better than using it as like a bat, you know? And I think you can, when you have more to grab onto, especially early on, you feel like getting to that ending. But if someone told me that they dropped this within the first couple chapters, I wouldn't blame them. I would understand. If you don't, you know, and furthermore, if I'm going to recommend this to people, I'm going to definitely be like, you got to stick with it. It gets really good, but you gotta get there, you know? I think that remains the same. And I was talking about pacing earlier on and I feel that now more than ever, especially because of like how phenomenal that ends. It's like, yeah, there's going to be some fall off where there shouldn't be. People that would love this might not make it there, you know? The pacing is rough at first, but it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. And it's more than just paying attention. You have to take mental notes and keep a wiki in your head of each shell and character that moves forward in time.
Yeah.
And you're piecing this together with voices that sometimes sound similar, but sometimes are not.
like thinking of what we went through, like you're going through the orchard and you see this random character saying a random thing, and you're like, oh, okay, you don't think twice about it. And then you keep going, and it's like, no. These are people that you're going to see throughout the story and evolve and change and go through things. And you're like, oh, remember what they were saying before? Like, you've come from a place. And yeah, I would have not expected that at all.
And I think too, so dropping out Automata at the start of Route B is very understandable for how not obviously different it is at first. True. But that's where being in love with the gameplay and the combat will carry you. When the fighting is good, when Platinum is doing it, and you're playing through Route B, being very similar, you're enjoying a video game. And then the narrative picks back up and launches you into the stratosphere. That's not happening here in a visual novel. And that's a huge difference. Pacing can be ameliorated by fucking sick gameplay loops that pull you forward, you know, wherever your interest might wane or go. You know, you can get into the combat and then the story rips you one way, and then you can get into, and then the story rips you back and forth and stuff. And I say combat, but it doesn't have to be combat. It can be any real genre, but the you know, you can be Everhooding your way, dancing through a note track, you know, but like the gameplay of video game will pick up the slack where the visual novel might let it go. That's the difference, and that's why you feel it so much here, because there's nothing to do but just walk to the next person and talk to them. But yeah, that's I think where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good shit. Truly, we were the 1000 times resist.